What up? Welcome back to the Zero Excuses podcast. My name is Kenyon Ziska. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to listen to me talk for a few minutes here. This is our Deacons of Discipline series. Today I'm going to be featuring Joe Rogan. If you don't know who Joe Rogan is, I don't know what rock you've been living under. If you don't know who he is, just Google him. He's an MMA event commentator. He's a comedian, athlete, radio host, etc. He's listened to by millions every single day. Anyways, the sound clip I've got for you today in our Deacons of Discipline series is he talks about not letting our pasts define us and not dwelling on our past negative experiences. So this is something that affected me. I've at times allowed negative experiences and past definitions that I gave myself essentially they held me back, and I think that what Joe talks about here is very important. I think every single one of us can do better in this area, rooting out these things in our past that hold us back. So without further ado, here's the clip. Stick around and I'll give you some practical actionable steps that you can take breaking this soundbite down.
If I look back on anything I've ever done, mistakes I've ever made, paths that something that I put out that I didn't quite think, man, maybe I just waited 3 months before I released that, or maybe I should have, re-edited that blog post a couple more times before I put it online, or those things drive me crazy. But things that I've done have driven me crazy, but yelling at someone I didn't have to yell at them for, whatever. But the most important thing is always for all people to recognize that you're not who you were a year ago. You're not who you were 5 years ago. You're not who you were last week. You're who you are now, and this is the only shit you have control over. So you got to regulate how much you dwell on regrets of the past. You really got to be careful, because it's good to have a little. Because my regrets, whether it's things of professional nature or the very few regrets friendship-wise, which is one thing that makes me very happy. But there's life is strange. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of factors happening in life. But for sure, who I am now wouldn't have ever happened if I didn't fuck up. If I didn't make those mistakes, I wouldn't have understand the importance of friendship and kindness. And if I hadn't been cruel at some point in my life, or someone hadn't been cruel to me, I wouldn't understand the beauty of love. I wouldn't understand the full range of it, because I hadn't felt the sting. If nobody ever punches you in the face, you don't really appreciate safety. Because a lot of people don't even understand what safety is. You pretend, oh, we're safe, but you are so not safe at any moment. And when someone's punched you in the face a bunch of times, and you've been in a street fight with some guy you barely knew, you got in an argument with him, there's something about regular safety that's sweeter. Yeah. It's more delicious. Yeah. It's more delicious. It's way better to drive your car straight after you almost lost control on a turn. You're like, wah! And then you get back straight, you're like, whoa. For sure. I'm not saying that you should go sideways around corners, but what I am saying is that there's a yin and a yang to this world, man. And you got to fuel yourself with the fuck-ups. And most people get stuck in these patterns because they define themselves as a fuck-up, or they define themselves as a person who doesn't follow through on their ideas, or a person who doesn't pursue their real interests and loves. You define yourself by that. Well, I guess I start things and I quit. No, you don't. No, you have started things and you quit. And it gives you a horrible sense of regret that's made you define yourself by that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that.
That was pretty powerful. I'm going to say again, so many people allow negative events to affect their lives. It really stresses them out. It causes anxiety. It really just bogs people down. And like I mentioned in the beginning here, this is something that I continue to work on to this very moment that I'm talking to you right now. But one of the biggest things that you can do is give yourself permission to feel the pain of negative experiences. It should be painful. And, just like a star quarterback, driving his team down in the fourth quarter, perfect come from behind scenario, and then he throws an interception. And then that quarterback has two choices. Either he can allow that to define the rest of his career, or he can feel the pain and then move forward. He can break down that situation and extract some gold from it. So the first thing that I would suggest that you guys do when you have a negative experience is allow yourself to feel the pain. The second step is to, after you're done feeling the pain, and by the way, you need to give yourself a time frame. Give this pain an expiration date. Allow yourself to feel the pain for an hour, a day, whatever it may be. Say, okay, I'm gonna allow myself to process this pain for a specific amount of time, and then I'm gonna move forward. And then at that point in time, when you decide to move forward, the next thing you got to do is extract gold from that situation. What did you learn? How can I use this situation to my benefit? So you've really got to extract every gold nugget that you can from those negative situations. 50 Cent, the famous rapper, he's got a famous quote, you got to turn shit into sugar. So the third thing that you have to realize is that I'm going to recommend a book here that you have to read. It's Mindset by Carol Dweck. And you have to recognize that we all have capacity to continue growing until the day that we leave this earth. And so many people think that they are stuck and predisposed into a certain way of thinking, a certain way of acting, etc. And we have to recognize that we are ever evolving. You're able to change yourself like turning on a light. You can decide to change right now and be a different person. And when you realize that you have that power, you'll realize that these past events, that they really don't have that much of an impact on you. You can change. You can become better. You can evolve. And the fourth thing I want to leave you guys with here is do difficult stuff. It's hard to move forward from a really, really difficult relationship. It's hard to move forward from a bankruptcy, but you have to do the hard work necessary to move yourself forward. And it's life is not easy. That's the biggest thing that you can get ingrained in your mind, is that it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. So, all right, guys, that's all I got for you. Have a kick-ass weekend and keep pushing through the weekend. Just because it's the weekend doesn't mean that your goals get to take a vacation. So keep pushing forward, and I will talk with you guys on Monday.